So good afternoon, everybody. It's so wonderful to be back at the Talmud Lunch and Learn. And I want to dedicate today's short Dvar Torah to the memory of my grandmother, Rivka Bat Avraham. In this week's Parsha, we see that Sarah was laughing when she heard that she was going to have a child. She was 90 years old, or 89 at the time. She was 90 when she was going to give birth. And it sort of seems humorous that you tell a 90-year-old you're about to have a child in 9 months. So she was laughing. And the Rashi says that Sarah laughed within herself, saying, "Now that I'm worn out, shall I have the pleasure of a son?" Right? Me now at this age, I'm going to have a child. It seems ridiculous, but our sages tell us, the Chafetz Chaim tells us, that the bewilderment and the surprise, skepticism of Sarah is very similar to that of the Jewish people today. You see, we also at times think that there's no way that God's going to be able to bring the redemption. There's no way that God's going to bring us back and reunite all the Jewish people from all four corners of the world. It's impossible. Right? God says that we know the prophecy that there's going to be a day where all the Jews from all four corners of the world are going to be reunited again, and everyone's going to come back and recognize that Hashem hu Elokim, that Hashem is our God. Really? I mean, come on. We have rampant intermarriage, assimilation. We have terrible things going on for the Jewish people, a spiritual holocaust that we're experiencing, and you're telling me that there's going to be a time where we're all going to come back. So the Chafetz Chaim says that this is the same skepticism that Sarah had. Is there anything that Hashem is incapable of? Is Hashem incapable of making a 90-year-old pregnant? Is Hashem incapable of doing incredible miracles? No. But that's part of what we need to understand in our relationship with Hashem, in our emunah, in our faith, in our trust in Hashem, is that there's nothing that Hashem is limited from. There's nothing that Hashem is limited. Hashem has unlimited powers. There's nothing that Hashem cannot do. That's not only our belief, but this needs to be our knowledge. We have to know that this is so. Not only in a global perspective, but also as an individual, as in our own divine providence, in our own individual lives. There's nothing that Hashem cannot do. Yes, Hashem can also make you win the lottery. Hashem can also make you succeed in unbelievable ways. But you have to warrant it. Hashem has to want it, right? And you have to have trust and belief in Hashem.
And you have to buy a ticket.
And you have to buy the ticket, of course. You have to make your efforts, right? You can't sit and say, you know what, God make me a millionaire. God make me a millionaire so that I can, give charity and so on and so forth. We have to actually involve ourselves in that relationship. Now, it doesn't mean that only people who are in the relationship with Hashem succeed, right? There are many people who have no relationship whatsoever with God, and we see them apparently or externally having great success in their lives. But that does not necessarily translate, because we have a whole other discussion that we can talk about of why bad things happen to good people, why good things happen to bad people, what is the definition of good and what is the definition of bad. That's a whole other discussion. But what we have to for sure re-establish within ourselves is that there's no limitations to God's ability. There's nothing that God is restricted of. There's nothing that God cannot do. There's nothing. And the more we understand that, the more we're able to connect on a higher level with the Almighty. That Hashem is capable of doing anything. Right? Sometimes we think there's that Hashem can't do. Right? That's never gonna happen. Well, guess what? If you look at the world, the political landscape of the world we're in today, and compare it to 4 years ago, compare it to 6 years ago, to 8 years ago, 10, 12, 20 years ago, there's some things we're like, oh, that's never going to happen. Peace with this and peace with that, and war with them. We'll never have war with them. Things can change like that. Hashem is in control of everything that happens in this world. And the more we understand it, the more we internalize that, the more we build in our relationship with Hashem, the better off we'll be. Hashem should bless us all, that we should be completely successful in everything that we do, so that we always feel that relationship with Hashem. And one other thing is that my grandmother of blessed memory passed away yesterday morning. She was a solid believer in her with her emunah in the coming of Mashiach. She would tell us for the past 13 years that I can recall, she would say almost every single day, Mashiach is right here. Mashiach is he's at the doorstep. He's about to come. All we need is the right merits to deserve him. That's it. A few more mitzvahs, a little bit more Torah study, a little bit more good deeds. That's it we need. We're right at the cusp. We're right there. So this, we should be inspired in her memory, and her neshama should continue to be elevated. She was a very, very special woman. Hashem should bless us all to have that relationship with Hashem and to continue to grow forever and ever. Amen. Have a wonderful Shabbos, my dear friends. You're always welcome to join us here at the Torch Center for our Talmud Lunch and Learn. And now we are going into our regular Talmud studies. You're all welcome to join us live and in person. Have a wonderful Shabbos, everyone.